So till then, we have to learn about balancing redox reactions. Okay, so this is the topic that I'm going to talk to you about. Now, suppose we have a redox reaction KMnO4 plus H2SO4 plus let us say FeSO4. So this reacts to form K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus FeSO4 plus H2O. So the question is, here is a nice reaction, balance it. So how do you go ahead balancing it? So there are different techniques available to us for balancing. There is one technique which I call the fundamental method. So I like this particular technique. More than liking it, I think all of you should know it. Okay, this is not required for you. You may not find these in many of the books that you are using these days, because nobody learns things this way. But my basic question to, if I was a student, your side, the first question that I would ask me, that is, as a student, I would ask to my teacher that, look, I know you are a physics teacher, and I also heard you like a maths teacher, and now you have come to teach me chemistry, and you will see that I will do a reasonable job here. So your first question will be that, sir, how are you able to do physics, chemistry and maths? And I am 20 years, at least 20 years senior to you guys. Okay, so after 20 years, how are you able to do this? And I didn't get a lot of time to sit and prepare for it, so I don't know much. So I'm just teaching you from what I know about it. Now, the fundamental difference, students, is the way we learn it. Okay, now the modern day, see, you guys are much more intelligent than what we were. Let's be honest about it. Now, you have different types of intelligence. I won't say you're more intelligent. You have different type of an intelligence. I also have different type of intelligence. So we have learned things from slightly more basic concepts. Now, because we have learned things from more basic concepts, we know it. Other than that, there is no other reason. So I will explain to you, okay, what I mean by that. Now you see, this is a redox reaction. Here you have, this goes together. This is what is referred to as acidified KMnO4. Acidified KMnO4 is KMnO4 mixed with H2SO4. So the first question that should come to your mind is, why H2SO4? Why not something else? And if that's something else, what is that something else? Okay, so I won't answer this question right away. So let's assume that we have acidified KMnO4. So the way I would have first read this reaction, this was the first thing that my teacher taught me, is to understand that an oxidizing agent is having lot of oxygen. So it can be, I can break this KMnO4 into several compounds, K2O, MnO and O, something called as nascent oxygen. Yeah, so now I would like to balance it. I have 2 here, I put 2 here, and I get this number 5. So oxygens are balanced, manganese is balanced, potassium is balanced. Now, does this really happen? No, this is a hypothetical situation. But this is what a oxidizing agent is. Oxidizing agent must be rich in oxygen. If you are a chocolate giving agent, you must be rich in chocolates, right? So if I am a mark giving agent, I should be rich in marks. So an oxidizing agent must be rich in oxygen, right? So based on that, I am seeing that this particular compound is definitely rich in oxygen. Now this richness in oxygen, this oxygen is what is called as the nascent oxygen. You can have molecular oxygen, you can have atomic oxygen, you can have nascent oxygen. Nascent oxygen is just born oxygen. Because it is just born, it is the most reactive. So it will find something around it with which it can react, and it will find ferrous sulfate. FeSO4 plus H2SO4 plus O will give Fe2SO4 3 plus H2O. Now you can ask, why does it not react with H2SO4? We will answer this question. When we answer this question, we will talk about that. Yeah. So this nascent oxygen, which is highly reactive oxygen, quickly reacts with this to form this. Now I have to balance this. It is very simple to balance it. Probably it is already balanced. So 2Fe, 2Fe, 2SO4 plus 1, 3SO4, then H2O. It's all balanced. But the problem is that nascent oxygen, the moment it is born, it has to be consumed, right? So here I have consumed 1, but I should be consuming how many? I should be consuming 5 times. So I will multiply this reaction with 5, trying to tell you that quickly 5 of these will happen, and all the nascent oxygens produced will be consumed. Yeah. Now you have K2O, which is a base, and you have H2SO4. So a base plus acid gives K2SO4 salt plus water. MnO is also a base. All metal oxides are base, so they will always react with acid to form salt and water. I have to balance it though. K2 balanced. Then I have 2 MnO, so I will put 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So now these species, all whatever is produced is consumed. So if I add them up, my grand reaction is over. What is the reaction? 2KMnO4 plus 5 into 2, 10 FeSO4 plus 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 H2SO4 gives 5 Fe2SO4 plus K2SO4 plus 2 MnSO4, 2 plus 1, 3, 3 plus 5, 8, plus 8 H2O. So here I got a complete balanced equation. Okay, I like this method because this method can help me imagine what is happening. It helps me imagine that, look, H2SO4 doesn't have a big role. Yeah, it helps me imagine that manganese is one of the key compounds which are basically reacting. It also tells me that this is an oxidizing agent, and an oxidizing agent will be rich in oxygen. So here it is rich in oxygen. Okay, now first make notes of it, then you think of asking doubts. Don't ask doubts first. First you make notes. This is K2O, this is H2O. I write H this way, and sometimes they come close and it becomes like this. Yeah, so this is what is called the partial reaction method. Now I like to write it this way because now I am able to say what will be the product. You don't have to give me the product. If you give me the reactants, I will give you the products. Basically because I have learnt it this way. This is not required. I am just telling you. Okay, so that you should not be worried as to, I will teach you other methods of balancing which will be easy. But if you are wondering how is it that I am able to remember, I am able to remember because I have learnt this. And I will sincerely urge you to work on this if you want to learn it. Okay, so I am done with this. I'll come back in a minute. Let me just see. Sir, why most of the elements name is ending with ISM? That is Europeans. We don't know. Can't understand, sir. Please explain once again. Yes. I'm teaching chemistry only. Sir, why 5O? It could have been O2 plus O3. No, just born oxygen is always in the atomic form. Suppose I am doing one more example. KMnO4 plus H2SO4 plus HCl. Okay. So first thing what I will do, I have KMnO4. KMnO4 I will break it into the stable oxides of potassium and manganese. So K2O plus MnO. Okay. Now K2O, so 2. So 2Mn, so 2. Now totally 8, so 5O. Okay. Now I can't write this as O2 plus O because this is just born oxygen. This is born in different parts of the container. So they have not come together. For a reaction to happen, oxygens must come together, right? So they have not come together. So they are happening at different, they are happening. And as soon as they are happening, there is a HCl around it. So the HCl will react with the O, and HCl plus O will give you H2O plus Cl2. So I have 2 here, 2 already balanced. Everything seems to be balanced. But I have 5 of these nascent oxygens. So this reaction must be happening 5 times. Okay, so this reaction must be happening 5 times. Then what is happening? Then I have K2O plus H2SO4 will give me K2SO4 plus H2O. Then I have MnO plus H2SO4, which will give me MnSO4 plus H2O, but I have 2 of them here. So 2, 2, 2 and 2. So now I am good to go. All the basic oxide which has been produced has been consumed because it is acidic. All the basic has been consumed. It is this thing. It is acidic. All the nascent oxygens have been consumed. So I am good to go with this. So I have 2KMnO4 plus 10 HCl plus 3 H2SO4 forms K2SO4 plus 2 MnSO4 plus 3 H2O, 3 H2O here, 5 H2O, 8 H2O plus 5 Cl2. 5 Cl2. So here I have written down the complete balanced equation. Okay, now I will give you one more example so that we are able to understand what we are saying. Just a minute. Please make sure that all of you are working, not just listening and then asking me for slides later. Today I won't give you the slides later. So whatever writing you want to do, you do now. Okay, so this I have done one more question by this partial equation method. So all that I need to know, how is it that a particular compound will break? Yeah, so I will give you another example. Suppose I have K2Cr2O7 plus H2SO4 plus let me say H2C2O4. Now I want to write this. What is going to happen? So let me see, this is the oxidizing agent. So K2Cr2O7 will dissociate first, or I will break it. This is a hypothetical case. This is not actually happening. This is for my own understanding I am doing it. So this will break into K2O, stable oxide of potassium, plus Cr2O3, stable oxide of chromium, plus O. Now let me balance it. It seems to be balanced with KCr. So this is 4. So this will be 3. So there are 3 nascent oxygens. So the moment nascent oxygen is produced, it will react with H2C2O4. H2C2O4 plus nascent oxygen gives you H2O plus CO2. Yeah, so it gives me H2O plus CO2, and the logic is all nascent oxygens have to be consumed. There are 3 here, so I'm multiplying this by 3. Now I have K2O reacts with acid H2SO4 to form K2SO4 plus H2O. Then I have MNO plus H2SO4, sorry, not MNO. I have Cr2O3 plus H2SO4, which will give me Cr2SO4 3 times plus H2O. Now here Cr2O3 seems to be balanced, H2SO4 3 times. So I put 3 here, balanced. K2O, K2SO4 balanced. Everything is balanced. Okay. Now what are the rules? All produced must be consumed, consumed. All produced must be consumed. All produced must be consumed. Now you balance it. K2Cr2O7 plus 3H2 3H2C2O4 plus 4H2SO4. 4H2SO4 gives K2SO4 Cr2SO4 3 times plus 4H2O plus 6, sorry, 4 plus 3, 7H2O. 7H2O plus 6 CO2. Now this is a completely balanced equation. This followed from partial equations and the fact that nascent oxygen immediately reacts with H2C2O4, and the fact that all bases react with acids to form salt and water, and I have just completed it. Okay, so first you make a note, then we will go to the method that we should be learning. So make a note for this. These are the 3 reactions we will be focusing on today. We will learn these properly and then we will go to other equations and other reactions. One minute, I'll be back. Sir, why the nascent oxygen is not reacting? That's a question I will answer later. Sir, what is the meaning of H2C2O4 oxalic acid? Do we have to remember the dissociation of all oxidizing agents? There are only a handful of oxidizing agents. So if you remember, it is better. You don't have to remember. You can also guess. Sir, how are you multiplying by 3? Because I want to consume all the nascent oxygens. 3 nascent oxygens were produced in one reaction. 1 is there. So to consume all 3, I am multiplying it by 3. Tell me why you multiplied the last one with 2. Which one did I multiply with 2? Oh, which one did I multiply with 2? Okay, in the previous case, because we had 2 manganese. Here, see, in one reaction, 1 O is being consumed. Okay, totally here you have produced 3 O's. So for 3 O's to happen, this reaction has to occur 3 times. So that is why into 3. Okay. So if you are able to get some grip, don't worry about it. If you are able to understand something, it is good enough. Let me go back into more details and then let me answer. Before that, yeah. Why are you cancelling? I am cancelling because it is there on both the sides. I am cancelling because nascent means, nascent doesn't mean highly reactive. Nascent means just born, but just born oxygen is highly reactive. Nascent means just born. Here is the first slide. Here is the second slide. Here is the third slide. So I will take each one of them and then again separately work with them and then explain again. So suppose you have KMNO4 plus H2SO4 plus HCl. So this forms, I'm taking the second one first and working. This forms K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus H2O plus Cl2. Okay, this is what it forms. Now, these types of reactions are called redox reactions. Red for reduction, O for oxidation. Okay, in an oxidation process, there is loss of electrons. In a reduction process, there is gain in electrons. Okay, so in all reactions, there need not be electron transfer. Okay, for example, suppose you have NaCl plus AgNO3. NaCl plus AgNO3, it forms NaNO3 plus AgCl. Okay, so here what is happening is ion exchange is happening. This is positive ion, negative ion, positive ion, negative ion. They have got exchanged. So here no electron transfer takes place. Only in certain reactions electron transfers takes place. In all those reactions where electron transfer takes place, apart from balancing the species, apart from balancing the species, you have to balance electrons, because electrons cannot be created nor destroyed. Electrons cannot be created nor destroyed. So if somebody is losing electrons and if somebody is gaining electrons, if suppose I have lost 2 rupees and you have found it, how much would you find? You would find 2 rupees. If you have lost 10 rupees and I found it, I would have found 10 rupees. Basically, loss should be equal to gain. Somebody is losing, somebody is gaining. These two should be equal. If they are not equal, then such a reaction cannot take place. So it cannot happen that one species gives 2 electrons, but the other species says, I want only 1, I will take only 1, you go to hell, the other electron. It cannot work out. So the number of electrons lost by one species must be equal to the number of electrons gained by another species. So in all these cases, you have that additional job of making sure that the number of electrons are also balanced. Okay, so first we have to do the electron balance. Yeah, now to know which species has lost, which species has gained, I should be able to find out the oxidation number of each of these elements. So here potassium is in the +1 state. Oxygen is always in -2 state. So 4 oxygen -8. So manganese should be in the +7 state. Yeah. Now sulfur, oxygen here is always -2 except in peroxide. So here it will be -8. Here it will be +2. So sulfur is in the +6 state. Yeah. Now here, if you may allow, I will just go for a small diversion. See, in H2SO4, I said oxygen 2, each one -2, 4 of them -8. Hydrogen is +2. 2 hydrogens, each one is +1, +1. So sulfur is -6. Sorry, +6. Yeah. Now, what do you mean by sulfur is +6? Sulfur is +6 means sulfur has atomic number 16. Atomic number 16 means electronic configuration is 2, 8, and 6. So if sulfur is in +6 state, what can you infer? Can I say that it has given away all its 6 electrons? Can I say it has given away all its 6 electrons? Now, if sulfur has given away all its 6 electrons, then what can I say? I can say that it has attained the noble gas configuration. Now, if it has attained noble gas configuration, is it happy or unhappy? It is very happy. So, will this kind of a sulfur react? Yeah, will this kind of a sulfur react? Already attained noble gas configuration. So the easy answer for that is no. So will H2SO4 have a redox reaction? No, all the species are very happy. So H2SO4 will undergo what kind of reaction? Exchange reaction. Yes, NaOH plus H2SO4 will give you what? Na2SO4 plus H2O. What has happened here? Sodium and hydrogen, they have exchanged their ions. So hydrogen was with sulfate, sodium went with sulfate, sodium was with OH minus, hydrogen went with OH minus to form H2O. Remember, H2O is HOH. Do you understand? That is why, because sulfur is in highest oxidation state, it does not react, does not participate in redox. It participates in ion exchange. It behaves like an acid. So when MnO plus H2SO4 came, then reaction took place. It formed MnSO4 plus H2O. What kind of a reaction took place? Manganese, instead of being with oxygen, went away with sulfate, and hydrogen and O2 reacted to form water. So this is an example of ion exchange, double displacement reaction. DOUBLE, double displacement reaction, but not redox reaction. Okay, that is why the nascent oxygen did not react with H2SO4. Are you clear about it? Can you make some notes? So if you understand this, then I'll be back in a minute. Sir, if H is in the highest oxidation state, then why does it react with H and O to form an acid? I don't know, the grammar is all wrong. H is in the highest oxidation state, so it undergoes a attraction reaction. H is plus, H is plus, H is plus, OH is minus. So positive minus, there will be an attraction and they come together to form HOH, which is H2O. Okay, so that doesn't happen. Now H2C2O4, H2C2O4. Now here carbon is in which state here? 4, this is 8, this is 2. So 2 carbons 6. So each carbon is in the +3 state. So if each carbon is in the +3 state, it can go to +4 state. Yeah, it can go to +4 state. How can it go to +4 state? By taking an electron. So here carbon has reacted. But if carbon was already there in the +4 state, then there is no way it can do anything. It is already very happy. So once it is very happy, then you can't do anything with it. Okay, so that is what we are talking. Then only attraction can take place, because this is 4 positive. If some negative comes, they can attract and then they can form a salt together, or they can form a covalent electrovalent compound together. But a new bond formation cannot take place. Okay, if S is in the highest oxidation state, then why does it react with H and O to form H2SO4? Because of H2SO4, it is in the highest oxidation state. Sir, how have you written the reaction first step in the fourth slide? Fourth slide. I remember, my dear friend, I am a teacher, right? So I remember everything. I learnt it for my IIT class, I learnt it. Then how do I remember all these things? For me, it is common sense. I have taught myself that I can learn it. If you can tell me two compounds, I can tell you what reactions will be formed. I got a centum in my JEE exam in chemistry. I would have got close to centum. Okay, so for me, chemistry is the easiest subject, followed by physics, followed by maths. So my strategy was to get 100 here, or as close to 100 as possible. The best mark here, the best mark here, and then move on. So that was my strategy. I still feel that chemistry is the easiest, provided you learn it well. So most people think that chemistry is memory. It is not. Yeah. So, sir, in the slide 3, while balancing the reaction, how did we get 4H2SO4? In slide 3, how did we get 4H2SO4? Maybe not 4, maybe 3. 4H2SO4 I wrote. Yeah, 4H2SO4 I wrote because there is 3H2SO4 here and 1H2SO4 here. I'm adding all of them, right? So when I add them, I get 4. Or look here, there is 3SO4 here, 1SO4 here, 4SO4. Okay. Come back, come back. Teach us the easiest method. That's what I'm saying. You all want to learn easiest method without knowing the other things. No, that's not possible. Forget it. I'm not answering all those questions, Kaushik. We will talk later. Okay, let's come back here and let's work with this. There is no easiest way to get into IIT. If there was an easiest way to get into IIT, then our population is quite high for people to have done it already. Okay, so please learn it. So come back here. So please learn. Please, I hope you have written this down and understand this. So coming back here, you have KMnO4 plus H2SO4 plus you have HCl. This will give you K2SO4 plus MnSO4 plus H2O plus Cl2. Yeah. So now this manganese here is in the +7 state. This chlorine here is in the -1 state. This is in the +1 state. So you have to identify one species which is giving or taking electrons. You have to identify another species which is doing the other. In this case, look, I have chlorine here -1, chlorine here is in the 0 state. So chlorine -1 has become Cl2. How can this become Cl2? By giving electrons. So how many would it have given? It would have given 2 electrons. Then who is accepting these electrons? Manganese is accepting these electrons. How do you know? Here it is in the +7 state and on this side it is in the +2 state. How do I know this is +2? Because sulfate has a charge -2, manganese has a charge +2. Cross multiplication has taught me that. Okay, so manganese has become Mn2 plus. How can it become? By taking 5 electrons. Okay, I hope you are able to understand this. Now somebody is giving 2, but somebody is taking 5. This is impossible. So what should be happening? This reaction 5 times should be happening so that I get 10 electrons, and this reaction must be happening 2 times so that I can get 10 electrons. No reaction can happen half a time or a fraction of a time. Do you understand this? So now, if this is happening 5 times, how many chlorines will I get? 5 chlorines. So here I put 5. How many these chlorines do I have? 5 into 2, 10. So here I put 10. Then this is happening 2 times. So I put 2 here. So I put 2 here. Already K2 is there. Next I balance the sulfates. So 2 plus 1, 3. So 3. Next, hydrogen, 6, 16. Okay, so this is how it is happening. So this is a balanced chemical equation for this. This is called the oxidation number method. This is called the oxidation number method. So by this method, you will be able to oxidize it, but nothing is easy. You have to work for everything. TNPL, I've already gone and given the books in your school. Please go to your school, collect it. Or I'll see how I can give you the PDF version. Down arrow means that it is a precipitate. KNMS, you can come to Baba Towers and collect it. All books I have sent everywhere. Only this week I'm going to send it for Tanjore. Other than Tanjore, every other place I've sent the books. Okay, those of you who can come to Baba Towers, collect it. You can go to the school also. I'm not sure if they have stock, but you can come to Baba Towers and collect it. Okay, is this job done? So I'll take another one and then I will try to work that out. So I have K2Cr2O7 plus H2SO4 plus H2C2O4 oxalic acid. This will give K2SO4 plus Cr2SO4 3 times plus H2O plus CO2. Okay, because it's a gas, you put an upward arrow. Downward arrow is for a precipitate. For a precipitate, downward arrow, for upward arrow for a gas. So this is my reaction. Okay, all group 1 elements do not have different oxidation numbers. They have only one oxidation number. Oxygen is always -2. Hydrogen is always +1 in all acids. I just now explained to you that SO4 doesn't change. Here H doesn't change. Here O doesn't change. So the only person likely to change is the C2 here and the Cr2 here. Okay, now this Cr2 is in the +6 state. So Cr from the +6 is becoming +3. How many Crs do you have? You have 2 Crs. So you will also have 2 here, and this can happen only when somebody takes 6 electrons. So 6 electrons plus this will give you this. Then oxygen is 8 here, hydrogen is 2 here. So carbon will become +6. So each carbon is like +3. Here carbon is in the +4 state. So see, from +3 is becoming +4. This can happen only because it gave away an electron. So first I have to balance the electrons. So I multiply this by 6, 6 and 6. Yeah. So now the 6 here I know. So Cr2 is 2, perfectly happy. 6 carbons should come, 2 are there here, so I put 3 here. 6 carbon should come here, so I put 6 here. Yeah. Now sulfate, here I have 3 plus 1 4, so I put 4 here. Now I have to balance the hydrogen. 3 into 2 6, 4 into 2 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. 2 are there here, so I put 7 here. Now this is a balanced chemical equation. First step, identify species, giver of electrons and the taker of electrons. Yeah, make sure that electrons given is equal to electrons taken. Okay, then balance. Once you do this, then balance the, in this case, the sulfate. Then balance the hydrogen. Then it will be completely balanced equation. Okay, make notes, then we'll go to another example. So can you write the commercial name of the specific compounds under it so that it will be easier to memorize? I will send you worksheet. I will send you worksheet. Please remind me again. You don't have to buy them. You just come to the seeker's office, they will give you. Okay, so if you are able to understand this, you want to know the commercial names. Commercial names K2Cr2O7. Cr2O7 is dichromate, so potassium dichromate. So this is potassium dichromate. H2SO4 is sulfuric acid. H2C2O4 is oxalic acid. These things should not be memorized. You should do so much of practice that they should come automatically. Here, this one is potassium sulfate. This is chromium sulfate. Then you know water and carbon dioxide. Okay, so please make sure that you are writing these reactions. K2Cr2O7 plus H2SO4 plus FeSO4. So write this chemical equation. So how do you write this chemical equation? Like always, K2SO4 plus Cr2SO4 thrice plus ferrous Fe2SO4 thrice plus H2O. So these are the different species formed. Now how do I balance it? So I told you potassium won't change, won't change, won't change, won't change. So chromium is here 14, 14, this is 2, K2Cr2O7. So chromium is in the 6th state, plus 6. So chromium plus 6 is becoming, here chromium is in the plus 3 state. How do I know? Cr plus 3 SO4 2 minus. So cross multiply. So by the cross multiplication, I know that Cr is in the plus 3 state. So how can Cr plus 6 become plus 3? By taking 3 electrons. How many chromiums are there here? 2 chromiums were there here. So this whole thing has to be multiplied by 2. Okay, because there are 2 chromiums. Yeah. Then Fe. Fe here is in the plus 2 state. On the other side here, it is in the plus 3 state. So how can Fe go from plus 2 to plus 3? By giving an electron. Yeah. Now totally look here, 6 electrons are being given, are taken. So what should this give? It should also give you 6 electrons. So 6 electrons. So now we can balance it. So here this 6 Fe, already 2 are there here. So if you put 3 into 2, 6 will balance. Yeah. Now everything looks the same. Good. So now balance sulfate, 3 plus 1, 4 sulfates. So here 4. Then 4 into 2, 8. 4 into 2 is 8. So here also I should have 8. So here I put a 4, balanced. So potassium dichromate. This is potassium dichromate, H2SO4, ferrous sulfate, FeSO4 is ferrous sulfate. Then Fe2SO4 3 is ferric sulfate. Okay. Next class, isotope, next class. So why do you multiply 6 with Fe2 plus and 3 plus? Because one Fe is taking 1 electron. One Fe is giving 1 electron. But here you see somebody is taking 6. So how can you give 1 and somebody takes 6? So you have to give 6. So I multiplied it with 6 so that the number of electrons given, number of electrons given is equal to number of electrons taken. So I am giving as many as you can take. I can't give you more or less. If I give you 2 laddus, you can take only 2. You can't take 4. Yeah. First step, second step, third step, fourth step. Slide 6. Slide 7. Okay, then 8 here, 9 here. Yeah. Yeah, the last slide. So I'll give you some homework. I will show you one more reaction. Okay. Copper plus HNO3 will give you what? See, HNO3 is an acid. If it's a strong acid, it can dissociate to form H2O plus NO2 plus O. So here I have 2 times, so balanced, 2 times balanced. So 4 plus 1, 5, 6, so 1 O. Do you understand this? Now I have copper. Copper will react with this O to form CuO. To form CuO. Okay. Now the CuO is a base. CuO will quickly react with the HNO3 which is there to form CuNO3 twice plus H2O. Now when I write them, you see CuO will be there on this side and this side. So there's no point writing it on both sides of the equation. O will be there on both sides, no point writing it. So now if you understand this, I didn't balance this. If I put a 2 here, it will get balanced. So I'll have Cu plus 2 plus 2. 4HNO3 gives you CuNO3 twice plus 2NO2 plus 1 plus 1, 2H2O. So this is the balanced chemical equation. Okay, so this is the standard way. There is another oxidizing agent, MnO2. What do you think will happen? So this will dissociate to form MnO plus O. Then you have another oxidizing agent, H2O2. What will happen? It will give H2O plus O. Okay, so fine. I will give you some small worksheet, questions. Sir, what is the name of the standard balancing method? That was the oxidation number method. If you have 4 laddus and if I have 4 laddus and I give you 2, I'm only sharing, nothing else. So that is, no element behaves like that. Okay, so here is the homework. So you take oxidizing agents KMnO4, K2Cr2O7, then MnO2, then you take these 3 oxidizing agents. Okay, so this you make it all acidified so that it becomes easy for you. All acidified. Always acidification is done with H2SO4. Why is it done with H2SO4? Because in H2SO4 already sulfur is in its highest oxidation state, so it cannot get oxidized further. Okay, so now you make it to react with FeSO4, then this is 1, then you make it to react with HCl, then you make it to react with H2C2O4, then you make it to react with H2O2. Okay, H2O2. So you have 1 here, 2 here, 3 here. So 4 into 3, you are going to write to me 12 equations. Yeah, so write the 12 equations, write the 12 equations and balance them. Okay, so if we are having a class tomorrow, we will talk more about it. Okay, but right now please try to do this. This is H2C2O4, oxalic acid. This one is oxalic acid. This one is hydrogen peroxide. These all you know. Okay, so please write this as homework and then work it out. More you work, you will learn. That is the only way to do it. If you write whatever we discussed today 5 times, automatically it will be there in your memory. You will understand that with KMnO4, whenever you are balancing, 5 comes into play. With K2Cr2O7, whenever you are balancing, 3 comes into play. Okay, with MnO2, Mn is in the +4 state. Mn +4 will become Mn2 plus. So how can it become? By taking 2 electrons. So with Mn, it will always be the 2 which will come into play. Okay, So like that, if you work with it, you will understand it and you will be able to do it better, faster. Okay, so I am done. Sir, why Friday is some holiday? Who said it's a holiday? I don't know. H2O2 acts both as an oxidizing agent and as a reducing agent. All these examples that I gave you are stronger oxidizing agents than H2O2. So in the presence of a stronger oxidizing agent, it will become a weaker oxidizing agent. It will become a reducing agent. So H2O2 is a mildly strong oxidizing agent. So in the presence of other strong oxidizing agents, it behaves like a reducing agent. Oxidizing or reducing is relative. When will the doubt sessions for chemistry be? They have made one schedule. Yes, next class also I will work out the same thing. That is called the partial equations method. Partial equations. So we are writing partial equations. So for MnO2, it will become MnO plus O. For H2O2, it will become H2O2 will become H2O plus O. Now these two O's will quickly react to form oxygen, because this is also in situ, this is also in situ. Now they will react. So MnO2 plus H2SO4 plus H2O2 will give you MnSO4 plus H2O plus O2. Now this O2 has two oxygens, one oxygen coming from here and one oxygen coming from here. Okay, so you discover it, don't worry, you work it out. There is no gold medal, nothing. Just work on it, you will get it. So please work on these 12 equations. Okay. Balamurgan, I will tell you. You remind me tomorrow. You remind me, if possible. You please remind me around. Okay, you remind me tomorrow. Tomorrow, you please remind me. I will solve your message problem. Or you message me tomorrow around 11:30, 12. You message me, or even now, if you message, I will solve. Okay, bye. Enjoy.